Great to have you with us. Let's begin at Accra Academy, where 41 students affected by Wednesday evening's fire at one of the dormitories in the school have been relocated. The students will be sleeping in another dormitory on campus after the inferno destroyed their mattresses, beds, school uniforms, and other personal effects. Headmaster of the school, Reverend William Foligar, is urging parents not to panic as school authorities have the situation under control. Maxwell Agbagba was on the campus and now reports.
It's break over. The third period begins.
Well, there's still smoke coming out of some of the items ravaged by the fire yesterday evening. Well, the portion of this dormitory has its roof completely ripped off. Some of the courageous students here were able to salvage these bags, trunks, and mattresses from the inferno. We've been speaking to the headmaster of Accra Academy, who has been assuring parents that all is under control.
Yeah. Well, they are mostly personal effects of students.
Okay.
Yeah, 41.
41. Everything destroyed in that room?
Yes, most likely.
Okay.
Because of the cracks on the building, it's dangerous for anyone to go in now. We are waiting for reports from the fire service and the police. Currently, they are being relocated comfortably in the other halls. Yes, so we don't have a problem. Parents should be assured that their children are in good hands. And what we thank God for is that no life was lost. You know that there is an extent to which you can use fire extinguishers. The fire outbreak yesterday, the students used the fire extinguishers all right. But the fire was beyond what they could do, yes. So even this morning, we have asked the fire service to come back and take the extinguishers and refill them. There were just one or two, and we've assured them. Later in the day, we sent text messages to all parents. We have a system of sending bulk text messages, and so all parents will be calmed.
A delegation led by the Accra Metro Director of Education has been assessing the situation here. I've been speaking to him about measures they've put in place to mitigate the situation here at Accra Academy.
It was unfortunate yesterday night when the students were at prep, then it actually happened. Fortunately, it was detected early by the staff. So quickly, the National Fire Service was actually invited. Police was called, National Security same. They all converged here, and then God being so good, the fire was quenched. And we are yet to get the cause of the distance. We are waiting for the police to come out with their report. However, there wasn't any casualty so far as human beings are concerned. The students are in safe hands. No student is actually going away. And that one must actually note. No parents should actually entertain any fears. Nobody is hurt. Their classes are in session.
Personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service and the police are already here to commence investigations to unravel circumstances leading to the fire. Regular school is in session here with students going about their normal duties. Reporting from Accra Academy here at Kaneshi, Maxwell Agbagba, JoyNews.
Now, a representative of the family of slain investigative journalist Ahmed Hussein Swale says the family is disappointed there has not been swift action to bring the perpetrators to book. Alhassan Yunus bemoans what he calls the seeming lack of interest in the matter on the part of the police. He says the same urgency with which police apprehended suspects who killed 2 policemen at Goma Bujumburam should be applied in the matter. According to him, the family remains distraught and let down 1 year on. Delivering an address on behalf of the police CID, DSP Juliana Obeng, who is the PRO, dismissed claims the service has abandoned the search for the killers of the journalist. She says the CID is on top of investigations and they are making progress in finding the killers. JoyNews' Komla Adum joins us with more. Komla, what more have the police and the family been saying?
Well, Daniel, for the family of the late Ahmed Hussein Swale, passing another day of grief for his children and the immediate family, and this is the incident feels like it happened just yesterday due to the handling of a case. According to a spokesperson of the family, Kamil Sahidu, that I spoke to, he says all avenues have so far been closed to them, and they have not heard from the police in a while. he spoke to my colleague Masla about 6 months ago, where he mentioned that police has not been forthcoming with information to the family. He says that has worsened, and they do not even hear at all from the police as we speak. They are worried that when it comes to issues relating to the service itself, the police is quick to bring the perpetrators to book. But in the case of Ahmed Hussein Swale, they are yet to hear any positive news on this matter, and they remain distraught, they remain disappointed, and they say at this point it appears an international intervention of sorts will be the only way out in this matter. For the police, which has been accused of not doing much in this particular case, it says it is on top of the matter. The docket has not been closed. They are gathering information, and they are really making progress in the pursuit of those who killed the suspect. So, Daniel, I put a question to the PRO or the CID, DSP Obing, about the group Forbidden Stories, which has carried out some investigative work and mentioned that they have presented some artist impression of the two killers to the police. And since then, there's been no update on this matter. I put a question to DSP Obing. She said, well, as the police have said, they are not shutting their doors to any new or fresh information in this matter. They say each person they get information from the public, from other close sources, of the family, and they say they are working hard to apprehend the perpetrators. So they are on top of the matter.
Komla, what was the purpose of this news conference by the police?
So this news conference was actually put together not by the police, but by a group involving journalists, involving a family of the late Ahmed Hussein Swale and other rights groups. So this was to essentially mark 1 year since his passing. So we had representation from the Ghana Journalists Association, the BBC Africa Eye, Tiger IPI, which Ahmed Hussein Swale worked for, and two representatives of the family of the late journalist. So it was essentially to mark 1 year since the passing and to make declarative statements about the status of the investigations by the police and the way forward on this matter.
Thank you very much, Komla, for that. Let's move to other stories. And the Accra High Court assessed January 21 to rule on whether ACP Benjamin Agojo is granted bail or remains in custody. This follows some extra documents filed last week by the suspect's lawyers to push for his bail. The senior police officer, who has been in police custody after 2 bail applications were denied in November 2019 by an Accra High Court, is facing charges of treason. At court today, lawyers of ACP Agojo, led by Martin Pebu, filed indentures of proposed sureties, adding that the senior police officer is not a flight risk and he is eager to see the commencement of trial to clear his name of all charges leveled against him. Senior State Attorney Hilda Craig argued that ACP Agojo could use his position to interfere with investigations if he is released on bail. She added that witnesses from the BNI, National Security and the police service who will testify against him could be compromised once the senior police official is released on bail. In a swift reply, Martin Pebu told the court denial of ACP's personal liberty constitutes serious violations of his priceless human rights and hence could be granted bail. The court, presided over by His Lordship Justice Eko Baden, will next rule on the said case. Now, the National Road Safety Authority has warned transport operators that their vehicles will be grounded if they continue to fail to comply with road traffic regulations. Acting Director in charge of Regulations, Inspection and Compliance at the authority, Kwame Echiahene, tells JoyNews motorists must be severely punished for flouting safety measures to serve as a deterrent to others. This follows the death of 35 people in the Dumpoise accident Tuesday dawn. He spoke with Mamavi Osuabwaje.
Within the period, what we have done is to take the law to our stakeholders. It is important that we do not spring surprise on anybody. The law requires a lot of transparency as far as the new regime is concerned. The new regime requires the authority to sanction institutional misbehavior. But so you cannot just begin to do so without bringing your stakeholders on board. So that's what we've been trying to do essentially. But in the law, Parliament requires of us to come back in 12 months with a legislative instrument to provide further details on some aspects of the law. Nonetheless, they are a good part of the law that can be functional whilst we work on the regulation.
And people want to be able to relate. If somebody drives recklessly, if somebody, and we've heard so many accounts with this particular accident, that it's not a place where you can overtake, and that it's an accident-prone area. So the questions we're raising was, if it's an accident-prone area, what have we done about it?
Yeah, so what this law does, the new mandate of the authority, that if I could summarize it, is to ensure institutional responsibility. So, for instance, these trucks or vehicles that got themselves involved are coming from a certain institution. And these institutions ought to have certain procedures, safety protocols, and standards at play. So our interest really is to find out whether these standards, procedures have been abided by. And if that was done, was there a possibility that these incidents would not have occurred?
And the punishments if somebody is found guilty?
So the police will continue to have a frontline enforcement with the individual road users. So for instance, the police should ascertain that these guys are guilty of dangerous or careless driving, the Road Traffic Act will come to play. But for our purpose, if out of these investigations going forward, it is found that the institutions failed to do one thing or the other, taking a cue from what the Bank of Ghana has done, what Ghana Civil Aviation Authority is able to do for airline companies, we'll get to a stage very soon where we'll ground transport operators.
Really?
Yes.
In the reports that I played, Malik was talking about the punishment not being deterrent enough. I wonder if the fact that you're an authority changes that.
Now the authority is in a position to impose administrative penalties between 2,000 penalty units and 20,000 penalty units.
What would that constitute in terms of the figures?
That's about, so that's subsidy per penalty unit, so up to about 240,000 Ghana cedis.
Without going to court?
Yes. And for institutions that will come under our direct supervision and control, like transport operators, they would have to come under permit. So if at a point in time we are uncomfortable with your safety practices and the way you manage your operations, we could suspend your license. It's never happened, but it will happen.
Now, psychologists employed by the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital to work on the survivors of the Dumpoase accident have begun work. Their immediate assignment is to work on the two siblings who lost their father, mother, and their younger sibling in the accident. 34 people have been confirmed dead, while 57 persons were injured. Hospital officials have not been able to break the news of the death of their family members to them, despite repeated queries from the children of the whereabouts of their parents. Richard Kojo joins us via Skype. Richard, what more do we know from the hospital?
Well, so as indicated, the psychologist started work this morning at 8 a.m. and they're still at the hospital. They went to the pediatric ward where in Shraba and then Adum and Sa'am. They are speaking with them. But as we speak now, the children do not know that their parents have been killed in the accident. Neither do they know that their sibling is also gone in the accident. So that is what they have started doing. From Adum and Sa'am in Shraba and Sa'am, they also proceed to other survivors of this accident, because it's not only them that lost their relatives, but others as well. A woman as well also lost two of the children, and so that is what they are still working on. At the mortuary right now, 16 bodies have so far been picked from the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital by various family members headed for different destinations. They have exhausted the processes. The coroner has granted them the leave for them to take the bodies away. And so all these processes have been done. As we speak now, the people that are still at the ward, they stand at 20. A lot of them have.
We'll get more from Richard later in the day. Now, Parliament's Public Accounts Committee is cautioning MMDCEs against the signing of sister city partnerships, which end up making them lose money. This follows disclosures in the 2015 Auditor General's report that the Nkwanta North District Assembly paid 30,000 cedis to the Africa Global Sister City Initiative, which the Auditor General says the Assembly did not benefit from. The Auditor General directed that true money be recovered from one Prince Kwame Klugeson, who led the initiative, but that has not been done. Ranking member on the committee, Kofi Ochre Ejekum, says a lot of such initiatives don't benefit assemblies. Joseph Opoku Gakpo joins us with more. Joseph, what has come up in this report? Right, Joseph Opoku Gakpo will be joining us on the phone lines to tell us exactly what has transpired at the sitting of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. I believe he's with us now. Joseph, what more can you report from the sitting? Unfortunately, we seem to have lost Joseph Opoku Gakpo. We'll re-establish contact with him, but the story as we know it is that the Nkwanta North Municipality paid 30,000 Ghana cedis to the Africa Sister City Initiative, and the Auditor General says, quite frankly, there was no benefit from this monies paid. And Prince Klugeson has been asked to refund the monies as it was of no benefit to the MMDCEs. We'll get details on that later in the day. But nurses, well, right, we have Joseph on the line now, and so let's get some more details from him. Joseph, tell us exactly what happened at the sitting of the Public Accounts Committee.
And so the District Chief Executive for Nkwanta North and also other officials from the District Assembly appeared before the committee. Among the queries that have been raised by the Auditor General as far as their accounts for 2014 and 2015 are concerned has to do with how come they entered into a sister city initiative and ended up paying a fee of 30,000 Ghana cedis as registration fee. And it was expected that following the registration, they would have participated in some international fora in the abroad and end up drawing some level of investment and some level of support for the district, but that never happened. And so the Auditor General, in the query that he raised, demanded that the said amount be refunded by the officials that the money was actually paid to. But since 2015, the indication from the Auditor General's office is that those monies have never been paid since then. And at the sitting of the Public Accounts Committee today, the directive was given that the necessary efforts should be made to retrieve the 30,000 cedis. And also the necessary evidence to that effect be provided to the Public Accounts Committee. But there was a general caution from the Public Accounts Committee members to the District Assembly and also other District Assemblies that the whole idea of entering into sister city initiatives having shown to be beneficial over the years, and that there is a need to rethink that and avoid entering into some of these partnerships going forward.
Thank you very much, Joseph Opoku Gakpo, for joining us with those updates. Now, nurses in the Tripoli district of the Northeast region are calling on the Ghana Health Service to deploy nurses to the district to augment the shortfall of staff in that area. According to the nurses, there is a current shortage of staff in the area, and it's having a toll on the few who are currently at post. Assistant District Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Mahamadou Nafa Ibrahim, said only 80 nurses are at post in the district.
It's approximately 80, manning about 15 health facilities in the district, including the district hospital, which runs various services, including specialist services like ENT and eye services. Can you imagine that you go to an emergency ward and we have only one person running a shift? Or you go to a labor ward. This labor ward is a combined unit that takes care of both maternity and labor cases, and you have only one midwife running a duty. Or you go to the neonatal intensive care unit and you have only one person on duty. We are saying that the current situation that we face has put too much pressure on us and it has become unbearable. So we want to use this opportunity to appeal to the authorities to bring us more nurses and midwives. We also want to use this opportunity to inform the Ghana Health Service, the management of our facilities in the district, to put in place, certain facilities that will serve as inducements for nurses and midwives to accept postings to the district. We're also using this opportunity to inform the service that they should try as much as possible to get us nurses.
Now, Northern Region correspondent Martina Bogri joins us via telephone. Martina, how widespread is this problem?
Mr. Ibrahim tells me it is the whole district. He says that the entire district has just 80 nurses. And these are nurses serving within the CHIP compounds and other health facilities in the area, including the Tripone District Hospital, which serves as a referral center for all these other health facilities in the district.
Right. Tell me about the impact to the patients who visit the hospital.
Now, he says you can imagine just one person at the emergency probably attending to 5 or 6 people at a time. That's a difficult task, and especially if there's an issue that a lot of patients come in at the same time and they need to be attended to at the emergency, then some would have to wait for them to attend to one person at a time. And so if your time wait should have been maybe 2 or 3 minutes for them to attend to you, you probably would take about 15 or 20 minutes to be attended to because it's only one person doing it at a time.
Martina, thank you very much for those updates. We move to other stories now, and the Jospon Group of Companies says they have completed a waste energy project which is able to use liquid waste to generate power in the country. The Jospon Group of Companies, JGC, owners of the Sewage Systems Ghana Limited, is generating about 500 megawatts of power out of its liquid waste treatment plant in Accra. This was disclosed by the executive chair of JGC, Joseph Siao Ejapong, at this year's Jospon Leadership Conference at the Pentecost Convention Center at Komafete in the Central Region. He said similar facilities are being constructed in Kumasi, Tamale, Takrady and Sunyani, among others, which will provide safe reception and treatment of liquid waste, among others.
2019, we were able to establish what we have tagged Integrated Recycling and Composting Plant, ARECOP, which is able to recycle about 400 tons of waste at Jamestown and employed 78 direct jobs with about 1,400 indirect jobs. We were able also to complete the waste to energy, which currently operates and about generating 500 kilowatt of power. And ladies and gentlemen, it is one of our flagship projects, I would say, in the whole West Africa sub-region. How you can use liquid waste, the fecal matter, to generate power. Zoom Lion is the only company that are able to do that. Wherever we traveled, I've been to Israel, I've been to other countries, immediately we are able to present. It become amazing. People are surprised that they ask, does this exist in Ghana? And you can see the picture there. It takes the fecal matter, turn it into power under the instrument and initiative of sewage systems. Dr. Said, thank you, and all your team, Florence Cobalt, you've done very well. They took a bold step. One day when I went there, I was asking, are you able to do this? We doubted it, but they put on the generator, and out of nothing, from the biogas, the generator was on spark. So we can boast that we have the men. Zoom Lion have the men. We have the people to deal with the issues of waste in this country.
Now, as the multimedia group marks its silver jubilee this year, we have been engaging you, our cherished audience, on your joy stories in the last 25 years. For the medical director of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Dr. Emmanuel Sofenyo, the establishment of Joy in the mid-90s was an experience which broke the monopoly in the country's media landscape and has turned around the story of the country in a dramatic manner. He spoke to Joy News' MFA Etiama Eli on his experiences with Joy FM and his expectations.
5 years has passed just like that. I remember clearly we were all there when Joy FM was set up, and looking over the past 25 years and looking at the contributions that news media has made in the life of Ghanaians, I just thank the good Lord for how far He brought media landscape in Ghana. You know, Joy FM coming onto the landscape was an epoch-making event, because because Joy came onto the landscape at that time, nobody would have known where media plurality would have been at this point in time. So for us, for me personally, I just want to congratulate Joy FM on the attainment of 25 years of existence. A big congratulations for the work they have done. We all appreciate you. I listen regularly to Joy FM. That is the only dial that my radio is on when I'm going to work, wherever I am, is Joy FM. And I encourage everybody to listen to Joy FM. They are the best.
You know, we are very aggressive when it comes to gathering the news, particularly in the health sector, and you are not one of our resource persons. All the time we will try reaching out, whether on phone and studio. Share with us how difficult, interesting, or easy those moments have been for you anytime we call on you to give us your thoughts on issues that are making the news in the health sector.
Yeah, thank you so much also for that question. The issue about you, the news people, is that you like to report the news when it is still very hot. And so there are times that you are called and then they ask you to make a statement on an important topical issue. And sometimes we, the technical people, we want to always say the fact. So sometimes we want time off so we can go and confirm our facts before we talk. So those are the few moments that we may have some little disagreement.
Live on the Joy News channel, let's take you now to the Trade Fair Center here in Accra, where the National Democratic Congress is launching its fundraising efforts for the 2020 election campaign. Currently in your shot is the chairman of the party, Samuel Ofosu Ampofo.
Monthly report to the Functional Executive Committee. Coordinate the disbursement of funds under the program and ensure all funds reach the designated constituency within the region with the region in the known. Again, prompt and send reminders to persons who have adopted constituencies. If you adopt a constituency, we will not leave you. Every month, we will prompt and request from you that you have a responsibility and an obligation to fulfill. Introduce persons who want to adopt constituencies to the regions, who will in turn introduce them to the constituencies choosing, and issue them with certificates signed by the flag bearer of the party and the national chairman. Again, liaise with the dedicated person in the constituencies responsible for the adopt a branch. We have a Christian at AAB, adopt a branch program, and have an oversight of the performance. The main responsibility is for financial and logistical support. In fact, when you adopt a constituency, you are not going to lead the constituency, you are not going to dictate to the constituency executives, but you are going to provide the necessary logistical and financial support to ensure that the constituency are able to execute their programs and action plans. And so you'll be responsible for being involved in the allocation and at the branch level. Let me say that there will be a designated person in each constituency who will be responsible for this program. They will be responsible for being involved in the allocation and adoption of branch by persons interested. They will introduce persons adopting to their branches and will ensure that they receive their certificate of adoption signed by the General Secretary and the constituency chairman. More than one person can adopt a branch, although the ideal is to have one person adopting one branch. A person can adopt more than one branch. You may select the branch, or you may ask the constituency to allocate a branch to you. And your roles and responsibility, one may personally be visiting the constituency and have meetings with them, and then introduce yourself to them at the branch level and acquaint yourself with the branch activities in the constituency. Support the branch financially for its activities. Support the party with logistical and party paraphernalia. Assist with organizational tasks, including social gatherings like funerals, weddings, meetings, and etc. And attend meetings as and when the opportunity arises. The financial support will go a long way in providing rent, electricity, water, and even those who man the constituency offices. These are some of the key requirements that we expect from those who will be adopting constituencies. Again,
So live on JoyNews today, we'll take you back to the Trade Fair Center as the program progresses. Now though, it's time for business with Darryl Kyle. Stay with us.